UFC Vegas 53 Underdog Fantasy's MMA picks for this Saturday. I'm John Kelly. Let's hear the picks. Up first, we're going with my guy, Alexander Romanov, over 1.5 takedowns against Chase Sherman here. The reason why I like the over 1.5 takedowns, for starters, Romanov has landed 2 or more takedowns in every single one of his UFC fights. He's super dangerous when he gets you down and very likely to finish in the first round here. However, his control time is actually not that great because he's typically just looking to smash you on the ground or get that submission or get you out of there early. He's not really looking to just control you on the mat. So I could see like a sloppy takedown where Sherman, the position isn't secured. Sherman quickly, frantically works back to his feet because he doesn't want to get killed. And then he gets taken for a ride again, goes down again. Romanov cashes the over 1.5 takedowns, gets Sherman out of there early, but not before cashing our first prop of the night. Up next, I like Krzysztof Jotko over significant strikes versus Gerald Meerschaert. Basically, we just need him to have more significant strikes than GM3 here, and I think he does. And this is an interesting matchup because both guys historically are pretty low volume, but I actually expect Jotko to be the one landing more on the feet just because I do favor his striking ever so slightly. Gerald Meerschaert's striking is not great. He is, going to throw leg kicks. He's got that 1-2 that he'll throw on repeat, but basically he's going to be looking to get the fight to the ground, whether that means takedowns or pulling guard. It's going to be Jotko who wants to keep the fight on the feet, where I think he has more success with the boxing and, again, more volume. I don't expect either guy to land a ton of strikes in this one, but GM3 historically low volume and tends to fade as the fight goes on. Jotko, at least I know is going to go hard for 15 minutes and is going to want to be the one striking against GM3, who's a dangerous submission grappler on the mat. So we're going with Krzysztof Jotko. It's a pick 'em right now, so this line maybe starts to move after we bet it in favor of Jotko. Once it moves, minus 5.5, 6.5, I'd probably just pass at that point because I do think he lands more significant strikes, but not by a super wide enough margin to where you can start playing it, when he's a sizable favorite. I like Krzysztof Jotko in our second fight of the night to land more significant strikes than Gerald Meerschaert this week. Up next, we turn our attention to the co-main event of the evening where we have Jake Collier, and this is actually my favorite prop of the entire card. I do not understand why this line has not moved yet, and I personally haven't bet it yet because I was waiting to give it out on this show because I know a bunch of times when I bet these lines, they end up moving quite a bit to a point where maybe it's not as valuable or even playable at that point. This is not one of those times. I don't understand why he's only a 6.5 point favorite in terms of significant strikes against Andrei Arlovski here. Just looking at the metrics, Jake Collier averages just under 2 more significant strikes per minute, where over the course of 15 minutes, that means on average in his UFC fights, he's landing nearly 30 significant strikes more over 15 minutes on average than Andrei Arlovski. And by the way, this fight is favored to go 15 minutes. It is favored to go the distance. So then you look at Collier, he's had 4 fights since moving officially up to heavyweight, right? 2 fights ended in the first round. The 2 that went the full distance, he landed 123 significant strikes and 130 significant strikes. He is a high volume striker in the heavyweight division. Andrei Arlovski, not as much high volume. He typically, stays on the outside, does that technical boxing game. He's just not a high volume guy. So even in fights that he's won, he's getting outlanded here. And that's what I expect to happen here. I think Jake Collier definitely outlands him more than this 6.5 line would indicate. I think a more realistic line would have been like 13, 14, somewhere in that area. And even then it probably gets bet up more in the favor of Jake Collier here. So I think there's a ton of value on this line. I think Jake Collier for sure covers this number. So whether he wins or not, I don't care. I just know that he's going to land more significant strikes, at least 7 more than Andrei Arlovski. So he's our final pick of the night. And like I said, my favorite one on the entire card on Underdog this week. So as always, we're going to head over to Underdog Fantasy to get these picks locked into our bet slip. As a reminder, if you've never signed up before, you can use promo code John Kelly on sign up or click the link in the description below. You will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So what that means is you deposit $10, Underdog will give you a free $10. You deposit $100, Underdog will give you a free $100 just by using the link in the description below, and it helps me out as well, so I definitely appreciate it. But let's add these guys to our bet slip and get this locked in. So first we had Alexander Romanov over 1.5 takedowns, so we'll go ahead and add that. before heading over to the rival side. And then, of course, we had Krzysztof Jocko, more significant strikes than Gerald Meerschaert, so we'll add that as well. Before adding our last pick of the night, which was Jake Collier, -6.5 significant strikes against Andrei Arlovski. Like I said, that's my favorite pick of the night. And if you didn't already know, I do a full betting and DraftKings breakdown on my YouTube channel. I'll link it right here. Be sure to check that out. If you like my content, I definitely appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you guys next time.